I was in an abusive relationship for years. And when I finally walked away, I didn't just heal, I got revenge. The kind of revenge so petty, so perfect, it left him sitting in it for hours. Literally. You ever have a man break you down so completely, so methodically that when you finally leave, you're not even sure you're a person anymore? Like you've been peeled away in layers until nothing but a hollow mannequin stands where your soul used to be? That was me 10 years ago. Fresh out of an emotionally abusive relationship with a man who, to the outside world, was the golden boy of charm and professionalism. But behind closed doors, he was a storm in a human suit. His name? Irrelevant. Let's just call him the liar. He was the kind of guy who could argue you into believing the sky was orange, then act offended that you ever thought it was blue. You know the type. Master manipulator, gaslighting expert, apology giver. Only when he needed to hit reset on your boundaries. I stayed with him for 2 years and 7 months. And no, I don't count the months because I'm sentimental. I count them like a prisoner counts days on a cell wall. I was surviving, not living, laughing in public, crying in parking lots. And then, one day, after a particularly explosive argument where he twisted my own trauma into a weapon against me, I packed my bag, walked out the door, and never looked back. Or so I thought. I went full no contact, blocked him on everything. I changed my hair, changed my number, started therapy, the whole shebang. But healing isn't a straight road. It's more like a haunted house. You keep turning corners, hoping it's over, and then bam, another ghost of your past jumps out with a bat. And guess where my ghost still haunted me? Our office. Yep, same damn office. In the beginning, I tried to avoid him, took the longer hallway to the break room, refused to go to Friday drinks. I wouldn't even breathe near his cubicle if I could help it. But fate, that messy little minx, wasn't done with us. His office was right on the path to mine, and eventually, I started noticing things. He laughed too loud. He flirted with the interns. He threw around terms like emotional intelligence, like he hadn't once screamed at me for forgetting to buy almond milk. And every time I passed his door, I could see it. That stupid, high-backed leather chair. He loved that thing. He used to call it his throne. Would literally brag about how ergonomic it was and how it supported him like a woman should. I mean, what? So one Thursday evening, well after everyone had gone home, I walked past his office, and there it was, his chair, all smug and shiny and black. I don't know what snapped in me, but I remember stopping mid-step, staring through the glass and thinking, what if I just ruined it? And then it hit me. Not an idea, a calling. I locked his office door behind me, pulled down my pants like a feral gremlin of vengeance, and I peed. Right there, dead center on his precious throne. Let me be very clear. I didn't dribble. I unleashed. Years of suppressed rage and humiliation flowing out in the most disturbingly satisfying way possible. The stream hissed like holy water on a cursed relic. It was art. As I stood up, wiped, and carefully readjusted everything like a businesswoman who had just closed a deal, I didn't feel guilt. I felt free. For the first time since I left him, I had control. It was absurd, petty, and possibly illegal, but it was mine. My tiny rebellion in a world that kept telling women like me to just move on. I cleaned up just enough not to leave evidence, just enough to ensure he wouldn't suspect a thing, but would definitely notice something. Then I waltzed out like I hadn't just christened his kingdom. The next morning, I saw him walk in. He did that little spin he always did before he sat down, clutching his oversized coffee like a Wall Street executive. And when he sat, I swear I saw him pause, just slightly, then shrug it off, then sit in it. I watched it all from the break room window, pretending to microwave a burrito I wasn't even going to eat. The joy that bloomed in my chest, pure, divine, unmatched by anything I'd ever felt in that building. That should have been enough, but it wasn't. That night, I came back, did it again, and the next, 3 times. 3 sacred, glorious, slightly unhinged rituals. Each time, I made it more creative. Once, I played classical music on my phone while I did it, like I was baptizing his chair with Mozart and Malice. Another time, I left a half-eaten protein bar on his desk with a sticky note that said, "Fuel your throne, king." By the third time, I had it down to a system. I'd bring wet wipes, air freshener, gloves. I could have taught a master class on stealthy chair defilement. I was becoming a pea-powered vigilante, and honestly, I'd never felt more alive. And then, something glorious started to happen. He changed. He started getting grumpy, snappy, unhinged in his own right. I caught him yelling at the janitor once because his chair felt weird. He switched from coffee to energy drinks, probably trying to compensate for whatever subconscious discomfort his royal behind was enduring. I heard him complain about a smell at least twice, but no one believed him. See, that's the best part. When abusers finally become the ones no one takes seriously. When the very system they used to control everyone suddenly turns a deaf ear. It was poetic justice, and I didn't have to lift a finger or raise my voice. Just my, well, you know. One day I passed his office and caught him standing, glaring at his chair like it had betrayed him. I smiled sweetly, asked if everything was okay. He looked up at me, eyes wild, like he knew something wasn't right but couldn't quite place it. Oh, darling, it was me. It was always me. It became my little secret power, a story I told only myself in the quiet hours, a reminder that I had risen, not with fire and fury, but with wit and a full bladder. People love to say karma will take care of it, but karma was too slow for me. I was karma, dressed in business casual with a smile and a grudge soaked in poetic bodily fluids. Eventually, he started coming in late, working from home more often. I like to think he just couldn't handle the energy in that chair anymore, couldn't sit with the guilt he didn't even know he had, couldn't figure out why he felt so uncomfortable. And me? I blossomed, got a promotion, moved to a different branch, fell in love with someone kind and gentle and allergic to manipulation, started laughing without flinching, living without apology. But I'll never forget that chair or what it meant. Sometimes you don't heal by writing letters you'll never send. Sometimes you heal by peeing on a liar's throne 3 glorious times. You'd think that after peeing on your ex's prized office chair 3 times, you'd feel satisfied, whole, healed even. But healing is messy and addictive. And strangely enough, not always complete when your enemy is still walking around like he owns the place, even if he's doing so in a chair soaked in symbolic vengeance. The thing is that once you start reclaiming your power, a little voice starts whispering in your head. What if you went just a little further? And baby, that voice was seductive. The office was buzzing one Friday morning when I overheard him telling someone from HR, "There's definitely something wrong in my office. I think there's mold or something. It smells foul." I nearly choked on my tea. Mold? Oh, honey, if only you knew. What followed was a scene that still lives in my head rent free. Two HR reps, a janitor, and the liar, standing with his arms crossed like a spoiled monarch, pointing at his chair as though it had personally betrayed him. I stood a few desks away, trying not to smile as the janitor knelt down to inspect the base of the chair. Nothing seems out of place, he said, lifting his nose. Maybe you spilled something? I don't eat at my desk, the liar replied indignantly. This chair, is cursed or something. I feel itchy every time I sit in it. I almost snorted. Cursed? Oh, sweetheart, it wasn't a curse, it was consequence. HR, unsurprisingly, told him to stop overreacting and maybe switch chairs if it made him uncomfortable. He stormed off like a 5-year-old denied a cookie, dragging the chair behind him like a corpse. But here's the twist. I missed it. I missed him sitting in it. I didn't realize how much of my own power I'd started to reclaim just by watching that man unknowingly sit in my silent rebellion every day. When he stopped, something in me felt unfinished. So I got bold. I decided to escalate. No more sneaking around after hours. I started getting bolder with my petty war. I replaced his pens with ones that didn't work. I set his desktop background to the HR code of conduct when he wasn't looking. I filled his drawer with glitter once, just once. It was magnificent. He started spiraling, and I wasn't the only one who noticed. He began lashing out during meetings, snapping at interns, and blaming imaginary conspiracies for missing emails and corrupted documents. He even accused someone of hacking his system. People laughed, mocked him behind his back. The king was crumbling, and his court had turned on him. It was around this time that something unexpected happened. He got demoted, not fired. No, the universe wasn't that generous. But word spread that a client had filed a complaint, and management had moved him from his private office to a shared desk space. No more throne. No more kingdom. Just a man, alone, in disgrace, sitting in a chair that wasn't even his anymore. Now, a normal person might have felt pity. I didn't. Because pity is for those who regret. And I had none. But what I did feel unexpectedly was curiosity. What would happen if he did find out? What if just once I let the curtain lift? That question haunted me for weeks. Until one day, I snapped. It was his birthday. The office tradition was cupcakes and awkward singing. I stayed quiet in the back, watching as he sat in the break room, sullen and clearly hating the attention. The moment the singing stopped, I slipped out unnoticed and left a small package on his desk. Inside, a simple note. Typed, no fingerprints, no handwriting. It read, "Some thrones are made for kings. Yours was a toilet." I never saw someone unravel in real time until that day. He stormed out of the break room like a man possessed, holding the note like it was evidence from a crime scene. He scanned the office like he could sniff out the sender. His face turned red, then white, then some blotchy in-between color that I imagine hell itself wears on bad days. He reported it to HR. Again. They investigated. Again. And you know what happened? Absolutely nothing. No evidence, no cameras, no witnesses. Just a broken man holding a single piece of paper that confirmed what his gut must have been telling him all along. The chair, the smell, the madness. It had been real. I felt untouchable. But the wildest part? That was the day I stopped needing revenge. It was like watching the final act of a movie where the villain finally sees the montage of all their evil deeds and realizes they lost everything. Except instead of fire or violence, It was a post it note in some deeply spiritual bladder control. From that day on, I let go. I stopped messing with his stuff, stopped thinking about him every morning. I took long walks after work, joined a yoga class, started baking. Yes, actual cupcakes, healing ones, with vanilla bean and forgiveness baked into the middle. And here's where it gets poetic. 6 months later, he left the company. Rumor was he had some kind of breakdown, started seeing a therapist, tried to go back to school. Nobody really kept in touch with him. He faded from the office gossip mill like a badly written side character in a soap opera. And me? I got promoted again, moved to a new office, a corner one, with a view of the city and a brand new ergonomic chair. One day I sat in that chair, leaned back, and laughed. Not a bitter laugh, not a vengeful laugh. A clean one, like rinsing out a cup that had held poison for too long and finally pouring in something sweet. See, revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's petty. Sometimes it's a little gross. But sometimes it's perfect. I don't know where he is now. I don't care. He may still think someone hexed him. Or maybe late at night, he realizes that karma isn't some divine force. Sometimes karma's just a woman who got tired of crying and decided to reclaim her dignity one drop at a time. So, yeah, I peed on his chair 3 times. And if I had to do it all again, I'd drink a whole gallon of water first.